Hey everybody, Carrie Cox here. So I am talking to you guys this week on what I've been doing with the blog. I've been talking this month about arthritis and how it impacts the body. There's a lot of different ways arthritis can come in, which I kind of reviewed in the last one we're talking about. With arthritis, there can be different things that are impacting what's causing it. There can be inflammatory issues, there can be filtering issues, there can be toxicity, there can even be alkalinity issues. And this week on the blog, I hit on liver. Liver is a huge organ that hugely impacts everything, basically. When liver is not functioning properly, your hormones tend to not function properly, your filtering is not happening properly, your breaking down and digesting that fat is not happening properly. There's a lot that goes in that the liver does and helps to convert. And even with vitamins, when you're looking at vitamins, oftentimes people will go and buy CoQ10. CoQ10 is one that people will go buy because their body is not producing enough, but you need the liver to be working to be able to convert that as well. Your vitamin K, liver can play a role in that, gut can play a role in that. So there's a lot of things that the liver, if it's not functioning properly and you're going out and you're trying to supplement and support the body that way, oftentimes you're not necessarily helping if the liver's not functioning properly. Liver, like I said, is huge impact on most functions. And the nice thing is that the liver itself can regenerate, but the problem comes down to, even if it's regenerating itself on a regular basis, is that if we are overflowing it, flooding it with toxicity and issues that it can't basically recuperate from, injury. There are medications out there that we take that are very common for people to be taking, things like statins, pretty much any medication out there, I feel like has some kind of impact on the liver itself. So if you're taking things on a regular basis, a lot of times it's shutting down liver function, or altering it in how it's flowing. Liver itself kind of gets beat up in every way we turn around. Our modern day diets, processed foods, deep fried foods, sugars. There's just all sorts of things out there that really impact the liver, and that's currently the problem. So not only do we want to support the liver and how it's functioning, the body is naturally pushing for that to happen, but if we can take some of that load off of the liver, can help. So reducing sugars or toxins that are coming into the body itself can help massively. And I would say with most people, if you could support things flowing through the liver, helping the liver to digest fats, and we have, I feel like everyone has some kind of liver gallbladder issue, has had their gallbladder removed, which really can impact some of the good that the liver is doing, especially when it comes to arthritis. So I will be going into foods deeper in my blog and discussion next week, but there's a lot of different things that are there. But we want the liver, a huge part of bones, joints is calcium, bacteria, getting rid of things in the body. That your liver breaking down the fats is what's driving the calcium to where it needs to go. So it is not building up and creating bone spurs or collecting in kidneys, which can be an issue. So inflammation itself, if you're having a liver that is inflamed, there's a lot of information out there showing that inflammation in the liver can lead to other inflammation that's happening in the body with other organs. So supporting that, eating fats, even another thing, fats, flaxseed oil is one that a lot of people are turned for omega-3s. Well, if your liver isn't functioning properly, the likelihood is you're not getting any of those actual omega-3s from flaxseed oil. Your body gets about, from the EPA, DHA impact, you're getting about 5%, I believe it is, the amount that it converts. And again, if the liver is overwhelmed with trans fats, which come from the deep fried foods, And a lot of people will tell me, well, the things I eat say have no trans fats in it. Well, the problem is that technically the oils that they're using when they start to use those oils in the beginning, they're not a trans fat. When they become into the high heat and taken over a heat point, that is when they became a trans fat. But they still get labeled as not a trans fat. So you're getting in usually a lot more than you realize. And high fructose corn syrup, things like that, your liver has to process these things over and over again, and it can take months of cycling it back through the bloodstream to get the liver to filter that out. If there is one organ that can really boost health besides gut health, I would say the liver is the next in line. Gut is so key because if we're not getting nutrients in, we cannot fully digest and help the body and get it the nutrients it needs to do the job itself. Most of the time, I think we feel like we mentally have to know how these things happen for the body to be able to do the functions it is. But the body is very smart without you knowing how it all works. It just needs the tools provided to it. It knows the processes and has these things down. We do things without even thinking twice about it, how we breathe, how we digest, all these things we don't fully understand, but knowing and getting nutrients into the body is your job to really think about and making sure that you're getting those right things in there. There's a lot of things that you can boost. Like I said, I'll dive deeper into the actual foods the next time that you can use to boost and things that are congesting, which I've kind of hit some of those now. But liver can play a very key role. One, because it's pushing your calciums to where they need to go so they're not building up in the joints. Two, emulsifying fats is a key aspect of how your bowels are flowing and moving. If you have compaction, which I would say that's another issue that's very common, people are not having bowel movements enough and there's compaction and building up. If you just have a time in your life where you are not using the bathroom well, you're building compaction on that large intestine wall, and that fecal matter sitting there is creating a toxin that's very alkaline that moves back up into the liver and then spills out into the bloodstream. And that alkalinity toxin factor can create joint stiffness. That's a problem as well. And the liver flowing properly helps keep the colon moving and helps to get rid of those toxins in the bloodstream itself. So liver plays a key role in that as well. Inflammation, you need to be able to break down your omega-3 fatty acids, the EPA, DHA, the things that are in the fats that help with anti-inflammatory. One, because they can drive in factors to help support rebuilding and nourishing organs, so then inflammation can go away, because inflammation is a way that the body talks to itself saying, hey, this is damaged over here, we need to fix it. And when it gets the nutrients delivered to that location, then it gets rid of the inflammation factors. So one, fats can help drive the healing factors to where they need to be in the body to repair damage. Like you need your vitamin A, you need your vitamin E for skin, and you need your calcium to go to where bacteria is and get rid of that. So there are things that come from the liver digesting fat and getting it into the bloodstream so it can deliver other nutrients to where it needs to go. Not to mention that the anti-inflammatories that come from the fats that you digest. There's a lot of factors I've heard a lot recently more about the omega-3s being a negative and causing inflammation and all these things. Your body needs the EPA and DHA for anti-inflammatory. It needs the omega-3s. It needs the shorter chains to deliver nutrients, to repair, to help with anti-inflammatory factors. So liver plays a key role in breaking those down and getting them to where they need to go. Also filtering out things that come in that are toxic, that are creating damage to cells. It's helping to filter those out of the body itself. So if it's congested, not functioning properly, it's going to be having a harder time getting those things out, which that inflammation and toxicity, toxins often actually accumulate in the joints. So often when you're detoxing the body itself, you are having joint pain because of the detoxification that's happening. You can have things also too with kidney, which I do believe I have, where I will be talking about kidney and uric acid that can come from the kidneys, which foods can impact that uric acid as well. That is another factor that can be part of that inflammation, arthritic pain, connective tissue needing that support, your fats, and supporting that connective tissue. Your fats drive your minerals into tissue, ligaments, joints to be able to hold, to not have injury due to weak ligaments, but also to get the minerals and such in there to help keep that flexibility and yet strength to the ligaments itself, which can feel the same way as arthritic factors. There's a lot of different things that have been termed as arthritis. Basically, I feel like anytime people are having joint pain, it's considered arthritis, which most people feel like they can't do a whole lot for. It's a genetic factor. It's this, it's that. I'm just getting old. But there is organs and supporting the kidneys, the liver, the bowels moving and getting the compaction and fecal matter out so that it's not causing toxicity factors are all things that you can do prior to feeling like you have to be put on a medication. There are things, or even if you are on a medication, if you're having problems with going to the bathroom, let's look at how we can get that flowing. I don't recommend doing an uber amount of fiber and all these laxatives themselves. Yes, they can initially help, but you need to find out what's causing the overall constipation in itself. And most of the time, it does come back to liver. So these are different factors within the liver itself that can impact how joints are functioning, how the overall flow and being able to rid our bodies of toxicity are happening. So we want to make sure that those things are being looked at and make sure they're nourished properly so that if that's an issue, you can work at some resolve. Medication itself is going to shut off the light that's warning us that there's a problem, which can help with day-to-day life and feeling like you can function. But if you're not dealing with what's causing that, it'll eventually surface in another direction and you'll have to do even more so. And you may have to go even more extreme. And sometimes it gets to the point where it's pushing you into another stage of disease that, cancers and all sorts of different issues. Diabetes, when you're not emulsifying your fats, that can be a real issue. Bacteria, how it's pushing things out in the body can play a role pretty much in most disease factors. So you want to look at these different areas and see signs of what's going on with that and how you can deal with that yourself. So if you have any questions, you can reach me at utahfoundationalnutrition.com. You can go to my website. You can do a symptom survey. I can help look at those different areas. I will tell you, majority of people could benefit from cleaning out the liver, supporting that cleanse. And it's not just all about herbal. There are other things you can do as well. So if you need any help with that, let me know, and I will talk to you guys later.